So I saw Oppenheimer, and let's just get out of the way. It's an amazing movie. I give it 4.5 stars. There were a couple of moments where I was removed from full engrossment by like Hollywood movie devices, where you're reminded that you're watching a movie. So I can't give it 5. I reserve the 5-star rating for movies where I don't even know I'm watching a movie. Silence of the Lambs, Raiders of the Lost Ark, movies like that. So it wasn't quite on that level of greatness, but it was a great movie, and I've been thinking a lot about it since, because it was also utterly terrifying. And we make these weapons. One of the things that one of the reasons that I was removed from my disbelief from my suspension of disbelief. One of the reasons that cracked was about 3/4 of the way through, I stopped caring about Oppenheimer himself. Like, the man was really complex and a genius and a very sympathetic character, but also he's just one guy, and we're talking about weapons that can take out an entire city at once and kill hundreds of millions of people. If there were ever a full exchange, perhaps the entire human race, perhaps all life on the planet. Like, what do I really care about one guy? So I think one flaw was that it was the premise is too big for its characters, and anyway, worth watching. But it struck me that, in the beginning we had this arms race. If we gotta build the bigger, better weapon faster than the other guy, and now our arms race is like, it's like in reverse. We've got a ton of, I assume, tactically viable weapons that are well maintained, and the other guy has a crumbling country, economy, nuclear state that who knows if its weapons work? Like, who knows who has those weapons? Who is really in control of Russia's arsenal of 9,000 nuclear warheads? It's a totally different problem than the ones that were anticipated at the beginning of this thing. And possibly even more dangerous? Maybe? I don't know. The Cuban Missile Crisis was pretty damn dangerous. But yeah, we're in a situation now, and it's a timely movie. It's a good movie to watch while you're wondering if Putin ever really is going to just lose it and start throwing nukes. And if he does, will they work? And if they don't work, will he start throwing more? That's the question of, like, that's what bothers me, is he wakes up and he decides, okay, I'm gonna nuke Kyiv, and that's just gonna be the end of the war. And then it doesn't work. The nuke doesn't go off. Is he just gonna be like, oh, time to push the big button? So this is a rather sober Sunday antisocial hour. I'm not smoking my pipe because it's 90 million degrees outside, and I didn't get started early enough to smoke in the morning, and it's just too many parameters. It's too many parameters on everything. I'm trying to manage you gotta make a video, but you also gotta smoke a pipe, but it's in the only place I have to do that is the garage, and it's a bajillion degrees in there. That's not fun. Should it really be fun to make a Sunday antisocial? It's antisocial. Does my enjoyment matter when the whole premise is that I hate everything? Anyway, this is the Sunday antisocial hour, when I would normally be smoking a pipe, and I'm gonna answer every possible question that you leave in the comments below with the hashtag AskGribs, because that's what I do for you. Just one teeny tiny little announcement. Do you remember back in the day when I made Minecraft videos under a channel called Gribs Grinds? Well, I have made some new Minecraft videos to celebrate old Greg's new server. I've been playing on the server for a while now, and it's very fun. And so I made a few videos. I made 4, I think it's 4. I haven't looked. I don't know. I don't care. The point is, I did make some Minecraft videos, and they are available on the Gribs Grinds channel. I'll put a link down below. So make sure you go watch those if you like Minecraft or me. The Venn diagram of people that like both must be just a tiny sliver right there between two also tiny circles. Anyway, well, there's a lot of people that like Minecraft. Point is, there's more content from me. If you like it, go watch it. We're just gonna go down the line here. Howard, ask Gribbs, can you please explain Bidenomics? Best I can tell, it's where the buck stops in the Biden family bank account, no matter where it originated from, China, Ukraine, just about anywhere. I cannot express how little I care about this to the point where I don't really know what you're talking about. Like truly, I just don't know. I don't follow it or care. But proceeding on the premise that the president is corrupt, yes, I'm sure the president is corrupt, just like all the other ones have been. But there is a baseline level of corruption that we accept and allow in democratic societies because it helps us function. And as long as that level of corruption doesn't become problematic to the right people and to the right number of people, it's just kind of like you're moving through life. And do you really, like, okay, so if you have a yard sale, do you really report that income on your taxes at the end of the year? Like, let's say you make $600-700 selling grandma's duvet cover, and are you really going to be like, oh yeah, like I'm doing my taxes in March. Last February I sold that one thing. Like, no one does that. That is the wiggle room. The wiggle room of corruption in polite society. And I haven't seen anything about this president that particularly, but again, I'm not looking, but particularly bothers me past that level of wiggle room. I think when you get into the level of, I don't know, selling state secrets after you illegally removed them from the White House when you were voted out of office and your attempt at treason failed, that's a little past the level of wiggle room. I would like to say that I think past unfortunate events from other presidents, such as, I don't know, Benghazi or most of the Bush administration, Clinton. Those things were also outside the level of wiggle room. But it's funny, there's an awful lot more wiggle room than there used to be. Why is that? Howard follows up, do you feel that it's suspicious that the release of the UFO info is simultaneous with Hunter Biden's plea deal rejection? I don't know what that is, so I can't speak to that. I don't care about Hunter Biden. Someone explain to me why I should care about Hunter Biden at all. And please also run a compare and contrast, like you were in third grade, like writing an essay about why Hunter Biden, someone please explain to me why Marjorie Taylor Greene put up Hunter Biden's sex photos in Congress. Did she really do that? Hang on, I'm gonna look that up because I just don't believe it. Holy shit. Yeah, okay, why do we care about this person so much that MTG, which by the way, I think it's way more fun to refer to her as Magic the Gathering. Why did Magic the Gathering post Hunter Biden revenge porn on the social media that is Congress? You know what does interest me? Why is there a minimum age to do things like drive or serve in the military or vote, but not a maximum age to run the levers of government? Why are Mitch McConnell and Dianne Feinstein still in their jobs? What is wrong with us as a society where we look at these people and we're like, I wouldn't trust you to drive me to the airport, but you can totally run the country. The two front-running candidates for our next president are both in their 80s. What happened to oh no, did I just figure out what happened? American society has never been more youth obsessed, right? Like we are completely captivated by youth and TikTok and all that, and yet I think the average age of the Senate has never been great. Strom Thurmond would have been an outlier though. Like just having Strom Thurmond around in the Senate would have made the average age go up by like 5 or 10%. So maybe I'm wrong about that. But people are old, right? Like our leading politicians are all very old. Nothing against old people, except they shouldn't run the country. So the fact that we've never been more obsessed with youth and our politicians have never been older speaks to an idea I have about American society never being more fragmented and disparate. Like from the people that actually... What is the average age of an American right now? According to Google, in 2019, the average age of an American was 38.1 years. Average age of the Senate, 65, the highest on record. And twice in the last week, we have seen dementia. I mean, I don't know that Mitch McConnell has dementia, but certainly he had a momentary lapse of cognitive function. And I feel sorry for the man. I do wish him a speedy recovery and a graceful exit from government. Dianne Feinstein, I think that ship has sailed. But yeah, we've had these two examples on top of the last 8 years of examples of our presidential candidates not being quite like as snappy as you'd really hope someone with their finger on the button would be. And it seems like one of the defining like issues of our time is climate change, which is an issue that is very differential regarding age. Like, shouldn't people that actually have to live in the sweltering sands of Dune that are coming, like, shouldn't those people be the ones that are making the decisions now? Blake MD CCC had a female friend in high school attempt to apply at the local adult store, but at the time in the late 90s, they still didn't allow nose or eyebrow piercings. Can you imagine just that's the reason you don't get the job? Like, oh, you've got a great track record at selling things and we'd love to have you, but if you're not willing to get rid of that eyebrow piercing, you can't work at the sex shop. There's a standard of decorum that we have to maintain. John Gaulieri asked Gribbs, if you were tasked with inventing a pipe tobacco blend, what would you name it? This is tough because Telegraph Hill is already taken. I was talking to my wife about this. I looked up Telegraph Hill. I don't remember what was in it, but I looked it up. I have no desire to actually smoke it, but the name of the blend is so alluring that I want to stockpile it. I want 2010s of this stuff in my cellar. Oh, of course it's a peace blend. Rich, flavorful, blah, 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 blah. It doesn't even say what's... Okay, Perique. Virginia. So it's a vapor. Okay. Yeah, not interested, but man, what a great name for a tobacco. I think if I made a tobacco, I would call it... It's so tough because all the good names are taken. Balkan, Sobrani. Like it's how do you top that as a tobacco name? So I would have to go the route of like making a statement, like a very, very explicit statement, like, I don't know, I would name my tobacco, your favorite Midwest emo band should save their vape money and smoke this tobacco. Collapse Experiment asks Gribbs, as someone who experienced a lot of blood and death in a previous profession, how does someone get over that, asking for a friend? I don't know. I have no idea how people that experience like actual combat live their lives. I don't get it, because the things that I've seen, which were not much compared to what a lot of people have seen, how do first responders do it? Like how do I know some of them don't. I know some of them get into that profession and then they don't do it very long and they're never the same again. And I looked into being an EMT for like a minute, and that was what I found. It was like, yeah, you could do this, but there's a high chance that the rest of your life's not going to be so peaceful. I don't know. I think therapy, we're learning interesting things about trauma. Did you know that if you play Tetris immediately after you're traumatized, it does great things for preventing PTSD? It's true. And also there's different kinds of weird therapy where they like make you move your eyes in different directions while you're reprocessing your trauma. I haven't done any of that. Maybe it works. Truckin' Piper Bob asked Gribbs, people who let their dogs poop on your lawn. This subject is close to my heart because I don't own a dog, and yet I step in dog shit all the time. It was not until I had a child that I really became a cat person, where I was just so glad I didn't have a dog. Every time I see a dog, I like dogs. They're friendly most of the time. By the way, another thing is, keep your damn dog on the leash. When you're on the trail, leash your dog. There's a law about it, leash your dog. But even when I see friendly dogs, I was walking up here today and I was barked at by a dog. I'm in a bad mood. I don't know if you can tell, but it happens every Sunday. And I was walking and a dog started barking at me and I'm like, why don't you jump that fence? Like, let's just fuck around and find out what happens if you jump that fence. And as someone whose child is very sensitive to being barked at by dogs, but who also has a strange gait because of his cerebral palsy, he's barked at all the time. And I don't think people understand that if I actually felt that their dog was a threat to my child, I would 100% stab its eyes out with my pocket knife. If your dog people don't get this. If your dog threatens my child, all of us are going downtown. Except for the dog. I don't know where the animal crematorium is. Maybe I just don't think they keep it downtown. Meanwhile, people can take their dogs out into the woods, let them roam free, and when the bears get threatened by the dogs, we kill the bears. The bear attacked me. No, the bear growled at you a couple of times because you let your dogs bother its cubs. We do not need to send government employees into the woods to euthanize this bear. It was just being a bear. Your dogs were just being dogs. You're the adult in the room. And we'll finish up with L. Croc's comment on my video about how everything has changed in pipes and pipe culture. Agreed, mouthfeel sounds pretentious and poofy, almost a newspeak word from the Orwellian. Just say texture instead, which is what we used to say before the snobs and effeminates started to rewrite how we think and speak. It's just perfect. It's just, L. Croc, you just continue being L. Croc. And that is all the time we have for today. It's all the time we have for today. Thank you so much for watching. That is all we have time for today. I am waiting patiently for the sun to go down and things to cool off a bit so I can actually enjoy smoking my pipe. And I will think of you when I do. Keep the ends out for the ties that bind.